welcome back, bananas. So we've got a few things on the table. We've got a soldering iron and we've got some other bits over here. And what we're going to be looking at today is a Flymo 24 volt 1.6 amp hour battery pack. So somebody I know has got a Flymo Strimmer and it's well and truly given up the ghost. So the first thing that went was the charger. I think it's quite old now actually, but the first thing that went was a charger. Got a brand new charger for it. This was showing some sign of retaining a charge, but there wasn't really any way of properly testing it without a working original charger. Got the new charger, but unfortunately, the cells in this, not all of them are very happy. They're quite old. So I've already taken the screws out of this. So like magic, we've got a 20 times AA 1600 milliamp 24 volt nickel metal hydride battery pack. It all just comes apart like this. Bit of foam to protect the battery pack there, and yeah, not much really to say. It's just a bunch of AAs all slapped together to make 24 volts. And I don't know how old the Strimmer is actually, but it's just bizarre seeing nickel metal hydride batteries shoved in a cordless device, so it must have some age to it. Ideally, you want to shove lithium in it, it's much higher power, quicker charging sort of technology, lighter weight as well. That's got some heft to it. But alas, heft we say. So we do have the soldering irons and stuff here. So what we're going to use to replace this battery pack, now we could go online, we could buy exactly the same thing and put that in, or if you've watched my soldering iron video related to this thing here, yes, we've got the NiCad pack, which came from the combat robot. And we've got another one here. So each of these are 12 volts. They are NiCad. It is a nickel metal hydride charger, but those of you that know anything about batteries, you can't charge a nickel metal hydride battery with a NiCad charger, but you can charge a NiCad battery with a nickel metal hydride charger. Now, why is this? So we've got two different chemistries here. So nickel cadmium, that's a endothermic reaction that happens when they're being charged. So what that means is when you apply voltage to the pack to charge it up, the pack actually cools down. It gets colder. Whereas nickel metal hydride, it gets warmer. It's like exothermic. So as it's charging up, the batteries are getting hot. Now, if these are overcharged, which is quite hard to do, but I mean, you're talking about leaving it on for hours, well past the sort of designated time you should be charging these for. But if you do, both of these types of battery will vent gas. These ones will vent NiCads, they'll vent oxygen. Yeah, oxygen's flammable, but again, you've got to bear in mind the fact that unless there's something causing an arc or a spark, this is a endothermic reaction, so it's getting colder, so there's no heat there. But with this is heating up, and if it gets overcharged, which they can quite easily do, yeah, it's exothermic, and it's releasing hydrogen, and as we know, hydrogen's pretty flammable as well. So you've got heat there. You've also got potential for compromising the insulation as well, given the fact that it's heating up. And if it's being overcharged to the point where it's releasing hydrogen, then there's a good chance that you've got heat and sparks and stuff going on. So hello firework display. So yeah, the chargers for nickel metal hydride are much more complicated. They've got many more sort of monitoring circuits in them, and a lot of like thermal and time cutout devices in them, which is why the original charger was a bit of a hassle to repair, really. Also, the fact that they filled it with silicon gunk, so it was easier just to get a new charger. And that's what I mean by the fact that it was quite difficult to just simply test the charge in this. Again, this video's sort of aimed at people which have got general things kicking around the house and not, oh, I've got a very specific nickel metal hydride bench charger which does this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's just we're going to get rid of that. What we are going to do is we're going to salvage this connector, because what we want is to keep the simplicity for the people that own this, so they can just slot it back on and also slot it into the original charger. But yeah, let's give it some heft. So I'm going to undo this. We're going to link up these two packs using just one connector. Ideally, really, I think I would have liked to have broken these all down and completely rebuilt them. But we're going to have loads of space to play with, because I've already made some side plates. So I had a little bit of sort of, what was it, 1.1, 1.2 mil thick galv steel. They were in the set size. It was just a couple of bits of spare metal I had, but it's got nice zinc galv on there. And if we look at this, I've actually bent the angles into it. So they make a nice little container. So that will go together like that. We will need to put something on the front here, bolt on another plate. But that gives us plenty of room to just essentially dump these both into there. As you can see here, plonk. And then we're going to put this back on top, boop. And we've got one nice big fat beefy battery pack. So I'll put these over out the way over there. So that one's already partly done. We'll get that out the way, and we'll open up this one. So using a scalpel for this, I probably wouldn't recommend to anyone actually using a scalpel on battery packs, especially if they are lithium, because yeah, you'll end up with a magic smoke coming out and a fire on your hands. So preferably use some paper scissors if you need to do this. Definitely do this in an area which you can easily escape hazard, aka run away, danger. So I'm not using much pressure there anyway. I'm just using enough to score the shrink wrap that I've put on these. Yeah, it's coming off a treat. And if you haven't watched the soldering iron video, I did discuss a little bit of the disassembly of the other pack. But if you've never opened up a drill battery pack before, this is very similar. Similar kind of build, but it may look a little bit odd, a little bit sort of rudimentary if you like, but honestly you wouldn't get this level of quality in a drill battery pack. they are very, very, very basic and crude. So this has actually got extra multiple layers of insulation, bracing. There's even a little bit of fire retardants and stuff like that. It's stuff that had to be done for use in combat robotics, because they are quite particular about health and safety, and you know, things not suddenly going up in smoke, obviously. So yeah, it's quite important to make sure things are safe when you're using them for that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is going to take off the cables, desolder them, link them both up. What's a thought? Let's have a look. So I was just going to plonk them in like that, wasn't I? And we are going to use that connector again. So what I'm thinking is I'll keep one of these connectors on. This is an XT60 connector. And what I'll do, this is the male end as well. What I'll do is on the end of this, yeah, what I'm going to do is just cut that off and solder on the female end. So essentially, you can just go boop and plug that in and disconnect it later on if need be. Makes replacing the pack a lot simpler. Right. Just having I tend to go off into my own head sometimes, thinking about extra things, but I'm just having to think about the cable routing, how exactly I want to do this. Obviously, this needs to come down. Like if I'm going to use this particular one, this needs to come down onto the negative on this battery, and then we need to link the positive to the negative on this one, or positive to negative on this one. So yeah, I think it probably would make sense to take that off and have it bridged over here. That seems like a nice layout. And then what we've got is just a simple bridge across to that there. So yeah, that makes sense. And I'm not even going to desolder this one. I think I'm just going to cut this cable and just whack that straight across, because yeah, that'll produce some nice results. Hey, right. Let's get to taking this off. So we're just going to desolder the this connector here. I've left the insulation on because we can reuse that with the way it's in situ there, and then yeah, that's one of the reasons why this is the rubbish one. It just goes off willy-nilly. Should be enough. There we go. Is that disconnected? I'll just pull through there. Yeah, this heat shrink that I used, it's actually got a coating of glue inside it. It's just hot melt glue, similar to what you get in a glue gun anyway. And yeah, it just helps bond things together. Very good if you're doing stuff like combat robotics again, because it stops things jumping around. So I'm gonna stick that in there like that. That'll do. Let's just connect that onto there. Right. Get real scientific and use some blue tack. Right, so cable and everything is already pre-tinned, given the fact that we've just desoldered it. Same with the pad as well, that's nice and pre-tinned. So put that on there. And you know what, let's use the solder from the original kit, because let's use the fat one. There we go. So my other solder over here, that's audio grade, so it's probably a bit of overkill, even though that is what I use in my combat robot. So alright, there we go. Just a little bit of pressure on there. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice joint. Oh, that's a keeper. Let's fold that back up, put that in here. Fold this one up as well. Right. Yeah, a bit of heat and that will close back up. Not actually going to touch the insides as such, I'm just going to put heat near the glue. Let's push that over and hold it into place for a bit. Yeah, like I was saying before, you don't want to gum up the end of your soldering iron with hot melt glue. Right, nice. Okay, so that's the first bit done there. That's the connection. And we're just going to link up the do I want to desolder that from there? No, we'll just cut it the length. I'll just cut it the length. So what's that want to be? Again, if you're cutting cables, I probably would use a proper wire cutter. Although with this type of silicon cable I'm using at the moment, you can just use a pair of scissors. It works quite well. Probably making people cringe at the moment by using a scalpel and just slicing through it, but you know, YOLO. Just putting a little ring around there, and allows the insulation just to pop off. So I'm going to go ahead and tin the top of this now. So I'll use that as a holder. Yeah, in fact, what I will do is I will use this audio solder, because it just flows so nice. Yeah, lovely jubbly. Right. Take that off. And why not? Why not? Let's stick a little bit extra on the pad. Just while we're here. Little bit of a courtesy wipe there. There we go. Wow, look at that, lovely. Right. Let's just heat this straight onto there. Oops. That's me letting go of it because it's getting hot. Do. Right, like a Jedi, I'm just going to hold that there, add a little bit more solder. Look at me, no hands! God, that is getting hot, mind. Right, let's use that to hold it in place. Oh yeah, what a beautiful joint. What a great day for soldering. Yeah, getting way too excited over that. But yeah, okay, we've got a nice joint there. Is that connected together? Right, so now we need to test the voltage. So we're going to use a multimeter. Set it to the 20 setting on DC voltage, direct current. Alright, stick that in there. And what a donut. Why have I set it to 20? Because that's out of range. We're setting it to 200. Swear to God. Ah, oh, nice. Look at that. 25.4 volts, which is more than 24, but that is not out of the norm because battery packs charge just a little bit over, and then obviously they spend most of their time actually under voltage. So this 24 volt pack, it doesn't stay at 24 volts. It'll probably be 24, 25, and then most of the time you're doing your strimming and stuff, it'll be running at, I don't know, somewhere around about 20, in all fairness, 18 to 20, and then it'll just go and end up fizzing out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We just need to sort of wrap this up a bit, get some insulation and stuff on it, and then that's ready to go boink straight into there. So that wraps up this little bit.